Good afternoon from the Penn State Campus Weather Service. I'm student meteorologist Brad Gay, here alongside Christy Shields as we bring you coverage of severe storms which have been affecting the Commonwealth through much of the day.
Yes, it's affected basically from the Pittsburgh area already through Center County and on to the east.
Yeah, we saw storms here in the State College area about an hour and a half ago, so it was a very humid, muggy day through much of the morning and into the early afternoon, but now it's since cooled down and quieted down here in State College.
Right, we did feel that summer-like air mass earlier, and now we're back into like the fall kind of feeling, so it definitely brought some relief here into the State College region.
Yeah, it was a little bit violent for a time, though. We saw some pretty strong wind gusts here crossing the Penn State campus. A lot of people getting soaked by those downpours as they made their way to classes. Actually, a 45-mile-per-hour wind gust reported at AccuWeather headquarters just a few miles away. So now as we look at the radar, we can show you storms moving through the eastern portion of the state, just about to approach York. Those severe thunderstorm warnings extending all the way from southern counties, York County, straight up through Harrisburg, Bloomsburg, then into Bradford and Tioga counties as we move through the next couple of hours.
And we'd like to also mention that the Center County was under this severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m., but that has been since canceled, so there shouldn't be any more severe weather here in Center County for this evening.
Yeah, maybe a few rumbles of thunder later or a shower, but the bulk of the weather has moved to the east of Penn State, and it's now going to begin to affect the Philadelphia metro area, the Lehigh Valley, and then the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area.
Correct. So you want to keep checking back, keep looking at the radar, just in case this line does extend and become worse than it is already right now.
So let's start off by showing you what's going on down by York County. Looks like a pretty nasty line of storms there, just passing through Gettysburg, New Oxford, East Berlin. So let's take a look at that warning. It's in effect until 5:15. And the storm's moving about 20 miles per hour, so it's a fairly slow moving compared to some of the storms that we've seen earlier this afternoon, producing quarter-size hail.
Right, and winds could even be in excess of 60 miles per hour, which is very strong, and could do a lot of damage to trees and houses.
Yeah, so definitely a busy afternoon down towards York County, crossing the Susquehanna River. And over the next 20 minutes or so, if we loop the radar, you can see the progress that these storms have made. This is about the past 10 minutes, just moving through Gettysburg, the national park there, and now beginning to slide eastward. Lancaster under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And it looks like definitely a little bit of hail being produced with that one. Let's move off to the north and show you what's going on up here towards Bloomsburg. We have another severe thunderstorm warning, capable of producing damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. So the same story as we head northward along I-80. Definitely a rough drive as you're headed west of Stroudsburg through the Poconos and then out towards Bloomsburg. And then another busy afternoon towards the northern tier, northeastern Pennsylvania. More severe storms affecting there. Let's take a look at some of the reports that we've had from earlier today here in the state of Pennsylvania. Trees down blocking Route 414 in McKean. That was about roughly half an hour ago. That's in McKean County near Liberty.
And here in Center County, we also saw trees and wires down on Jacksonville Road, so you might want to look out for that in case the cleanup hasn't already started.
And earlier this afternoon in Clearfield, more wires down, wires across streets, a common theme throughout the afternoon here in central Pennsylvania. Definitely a violent afternoon for several communities in our Commonwealth.
Yes, definitely was.
So we can show you more of this radar. Let's back it up a little bit. Can take you back to about, this is 1:30 this afternoon as that storm was beginning to approach us here in State College. So as we take you into Clearfield, we'll show you that area that caused that damage. Pretty strong winds with this one, right, Christy?
Yes, it definitely had strong winds, and we felt it here, here at the Walker Building as well.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to show you some pictures from earlier this afternoon as that storm tore through State College. So remember to tweet us any of those pictures that you have. It's at PSU Weather. We're trying to get as many pictures as we can get from you guys. So now we're going to go live to Penn Tower. We have Dakota Smith, who's out there. He'll show you what's going on from high above State College. Oh, so we'll just take you to that video. We don't have Dakota quite yet. But this is a great view of showing you quieter skies here in State College. That's a pretty nice view out there.
Yes, it is a gorgeous view for a nice evening here. And again, we don't feel that those dew points that were so oppressive like earlier this week. So it's nice to have a little bit of a cool down and more like September weather.
Yeah, some of the warmest days since July over the past couple of days. But now it's feeling pretty cold this weekend, actually.
Yes. Especially since we didn't really hit 90 degrees very often this year. I think it was only about 4 times.
Yeah.
So to hit around that, in September is very unusual.
Yeah, I mean, August was feeling more like September than September has.
Yes.
But now a great view here in Center County. Lovely view of Mount Indy. A few clouds still lingering around. Those will persist through the evening, and then some more showers possible as we get towards around dinner time. So that's again that great view of Center County. So more storms to the eastern portion of the state. We'll be able to continue to track those and to join us live here. So you can see out behind us, similar view, just a few clouds off to our west, but not too big of a deal here right now. So the bulk of the action moving off towards our east.
Yes, and you do need to realize that there are still some showers that are lingering in the western half of the state, so they are still experiencing some of that weather as well from this cold front.
Yeah, several power outages earlier out towards Pittsburgh. We can check the latest outages for you right now through First Energy Corp. They were reporting about 4,000 people without power as recently as a few hours ago, so we'll see if that's changed. Right now, 8,300 people without power.
And that's quite a bit of people in Pennsylvania to be out of power right now. A lot of those coming from Butler, Pittsburgh, Bradford counties here, Clarion and Clinton as well as Franklin.
Yeah, so those power outages, definitely something that people aren't really going to be enjoying. York County just being affected by those severe storms, already 1,500 people without power. So that goes to show some of the power associated with these storms. Pretty strong activity that's been moving through our state over the past couple of hours. So to show you that radar again, we're just getting new images from York County. I can take you right in there and show you what's going on. This cell looks pretty nasty, really, as it moves through Hanover, New Oxford, East Berlin, producing 1-inch hail in some cases. And those wind gusts, again, up to near 60 miles per hour.
Yes, and the Harrisburg region is also experiencing some of that severe weather. Right now, as we speak, they're in the midst of the storm, and a little bit to the east of that, they are experiencing hail as well.
Yeah, so a very busy afternoon for those folks. A rough drive along the Pennsylvania Turnpike if you're going anywhere this afternoon or this evening. Up to the north, as we head into Perry and Juniata counties, Northumberland County, Snyder County, rough going through there up towards I-80, and then to the north, similar story. So a rough day to be going anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania, especially towards the east. So let's time this out and show you Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia, maybe the next couple hours, they get in on some of this.
Yes, definitely are going to start experiencing some of this action. There's even a little cell in front of the big line of storms that is heading towards the metropolitan area right now. So that'll affect them first before this longer, stronger line does reach the area.
Yes, that's in Lancaster County, Chester County right now. New Holland, Adamstown, Scarlett's Mill, and Elverson, Honeybrook, all being affected by that smaller cell that's ahead of the larger line. And McKean County, again, Pennsylvania Route 414, reports of damage earlier. So these storms have a history of causing damage, so we are continuing to...
We expect it to continue on and expect more damage as these storms do occur, because it's at the point of the day where it is the hottest, where in like the Philadelphia and areas in the east, it is what they're going to reach their maximum temperature. So.
Yeah, so we're just coming on the air now because unfortunately all of us had classes this afternoon. So we weren't able to bring you those live shots of storms coming through Center County, but we are able to tell you now what's going on in the eastern portion of the state. Obviously those viewers are very important to us. So we want to keep you ahead of the situation and let you know what's going on. And I understand we do have some storm chasers out in the field as well.
Yes, we did have some storm chasers, and they've even shown some pictures on our PSU weather. So if you go there, they have been retweeted, and you can check those pictures out on Twitter right now.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to get some of those live interviews. I understand they were just south and east of Williamsport.
Right. So they should be coming on, and we'll show those pictures later on the live broadcast.
Yeah, so let's read some of those tweets right now from PSU Weather. We do have we have a few shots of the radar, a few nasty shots of storms moving through the Penn State campus. A lot of people tweeting about that storm that was moving through campus.
Yes.
Obviously, it's a big deal. It hit right during class change.
Right.
I know I got pretty soaked walking to class.
Yes, and I saw a lot of people coming into my geography class. I was luckily in the Walker building, and they were completely soaked whenever that storm did hit.
Yeah, so we've just gotten in some storm reports. We'll show you some of these.
In Clearfield, there was a 911 call to the center because of damaging winds that happened. So we're not really sure what exactly those winds did damage, but there was a 911 call from that. And so hopefully we hope that everyone does stay safe with these storms, and we want to iterate that you do want to go inside as these storms do approach you to the east, and hopefully everyone stays safe out there.
And again, not a good time to be out on those roadways. Report of trees blocking Curwensville-Grampian Highway near Bridgeport in Clearfield County. That was about 1:25 this afternoon. And trees down along Windy Hill Road in Bridgeport, Old Erie Pike, Spruce Street, Bigler Road, all bad places to have trees coming down. So a tough afternoon to drive here.
And it seems that this line
region
of storms is definitely bringing on the wind damage, and that's what we're seeing most of here in Pennsylvania this evening and this afternoon is what we saw.
Let's go back to the radar. So pretty two-tiered setup across the state of Pennsylvania. We have the storms to the east, and then off to the west, just quiet showers and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. So as we take this back in time again, we can show you those showers approaching the center region right now. Not a huge deal, but the bigger deal, those storms off to our west. A couple of no new severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have this one out towards the newest severe thunderstorm warning being issued about half an hour ago out in the northeastern portion of the state near Scranton, issued about at 4:03 p.m. in effect through the next 15 minutes. That line of severe storms with damaging winds near Towanda, LaPorte, moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. So a rough drive along 84, 81, 80. That area in the Pocono is about to be hit by some of those stronger storms in the next 15, 20, 30 minutes or so.
And it looks like that the damaging winds are really what is causing the damage here today. So make sure that if you are near trees or anything, you want to make sure that you want to get kind of away from them, especially if you're driving, because just stay safe.
Yeah, definitely gets intense. Just head inside, stay away from some of those windows. Damaging winds can take down those trees and really cause a lot of problems on your property.
Right. As long as electricity outages. So make sure you're aware of that. Have everything, ready and powered up. If you do have a severe storm coming your way, get your NOAA weather radio out, or make sure your phone is charged and ready so you can see any of those storms and if you do need to take any shelter.
And our friends in New England also experiencing some of this severe weather. Some nasty storms out towards parts of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine. Severe thunderstorm warnings being issued for them through much of the afternoon.
So this low pressure system is really bringing on the severe weather here for us in the Northeast, which is, again, kind of unusual for September to have this much damage going on.
Essentially up to 55 million people that read under some sort of severe watch this afternoon. So
this is more like summer and spring kind of weather here in September.
Yeah, so it's been a while since we've seen such a large line of storms move across the state. We've had some pretty quiet weather over the past couple weeks. We had some storms about a week and a half ago, but otherwise not too much going on.
No. We've had a few storms last night that were kind of, I've heard a few rumbles of thunder at my house, but it was some strong storms ahead of this front as well last night.
And we are about to get Dakota Smith live from Penn Tower down the road, the highest building in the center region. So we'll be able to get him in just a couple of moments. But first we're going to read you some more of those wind reports. Some really strong wind gusts coming out of Virginia, actually. Page County, Virginia, near Hamburg. 61-mile-per-hour wind gust measured by a weather station there. Otherwise, some reports from earlier this afternoon. Beaver County.
Yeah, they had a tree down, and it was into a garage, so there was some damage there as well. There is thunderstorm winds were on Heck Road in Butler County in Sarver, PA, and that was also damaging. I know that some of those counties in, cities in Butler do get some pretty bad wind damage when storms do rush through.
Yeah, Allegheny County, home of Pittsburgh, numerous trees and power lines down. That's not really a good thing that you want to have happening in an urban area.
No, and if you do have any pictures of damage or of the storm coming through, please tweet them to us at PSU Weather, and we'll try to get those on the show later today.
Yeah, and we hope to see some of those from you pretty soon. So let's show you that radar again. We're really, I think, most concerned about that line down towards York County, Harrisburg, moving along the Susquehanna River. I think that's our biggest concern right now, right,
Yes, it
Christy?
definitely is a biggest concern. They're even seeing hail with that damaging wind, so there's even more chances of damage. Maybe some cars being damaged with the windshields with that hail.
Yeah, hopefully we can actually pull up a PennDOT camera maybe and show you what's going on. PennDOT has that great network of cameras around the state. So hopefully they'll be able to provide a little insight for us, some eyes on the ground, and
Right.
show us what's been happening. We can find these cameras. So let's take you down to York County. Cameras in the Harrisburg area. That's really where we want to be looking right now.
Yes, because that's where they're seeing basically the most damaging weather at the moment with this line of very strong thunderstorms reaching through the eastern half of PA.
So we're looking along I-83 right now. Not too much going on there, just pretty much some clouds. So let's take you down maybe towards York. There's a little bit more happening on I-83 as you head south into Maryland. Looks pretty good right now through York. Traffic moving pretty quickly, and not too much rain there yet.
No, but it does seem that there isn't that much traffic for the end of the workday, so maybe these storms are keeping people staying at work a little longer or staying where they're at because of these storms.
Yeah, this storm is about 5-10 minutes away from I-83 though, so if you are headed down through Maryland into the DC area, Baltimore, do be advised that things are going to get pretty rough as you head south from Harrisburg in just a couple of moments. Hail up to maybe an inch and a quarter now.
Right, which is very, very kind of powerful hail.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that coming down on my car. Gettysburg, US 15 rather, just getting hit by some of those storms a little bit earlier, but now things quieting down there at least. We'll show you some of those, or we'll look at some of those cameras from the Gettysburg area. Looks like the roadways are again wet, obviously. But otherwise, quieting down there, and then 81, you're in the clear if you're headed south towards Maryland on that road. Let's go back to the radar again. Do we have any new severe thunderstorm warnings? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, just mainly that storm towards York, and then up along through the Allegheny Plateau as you head towards northeastern Pennsylvania.
Right, and close to Pottsville, they're also experiencing kind of a strong little area of the storm. So with heavy downpours, expect that coming, and some hail as well in that situation.
Yeah, again, damage reports coming in from much of western Pennsylvania. Beaver County hit hard, trees down blocking both lanes of Route 51 near the West Aliquippa Bridge in Woodlawn earlier this afternoon. Let's take a look at those power outages. They refresh them about every 15 minutes, so we can keep you updated.
Yes.
So far, not much changing. Power outage is actually clicking down a little bit, down to 7,600 customers without power. So some good news.
Yes, that's good. Probably the people in Western PA are starting to get their power back because it's been a while since the storms have went through that area. So I'm sure Allegheny Power is working very hard to get those people back in with power.
Yeah, because we know no one wants to be without power on a summer day. But I think power outages will be a major concern as these storms begin to move into more populated areas, especially near the Delaware Valley, the Lehigh Valley,
right,
and coal country up in northeastern Pennsylvania. Again, here in Center County, we didn't really see too much damage from the storm along the Penn State campus, but just a little bit of wind, obviously rattling some people's nerves as they're trying to walk to class.
And like you said, it was reported at AccuWeather 45-mile-per-hour winds gusts, so that is pretty strong for a storm. Yeah,
let's see if we some of those tweets here coming into the campus weather service. People talking about those severe thunderstorm warnings, sirens going off on the Penn State golf course earlier this afternoon.
Yes, if you are golfing, that is definitely something you probably want to stay away from. So if you are on a golf course, make sure you do get some shelter, because in open areas like that, there's a chance of being struck by lightning. So we just want everyone in Eastern PA to stay safe at this time.
Oh, definitely. We have some more reports of lightning strikes. Some signals on some highways here in Pennsylvania being struck by lightning. Definitely not good for traffic if you have those signals going out.
No, and again, that's showing that there is the cloud-to-ground lightning happening right now, so it definitely is a dangerous situation. So if you are outside, if you decided to have a picnic outside for dinner or something, you might want to take it inside if you are in the eastern half of the state.
Yeah, we certainly would not recommend a picnic today,
No.
especially if you're in eastern Pennsylvania. Might be able to get away with it in western Pennsylvania, but definitely not towards York or Lancaster. All right, we are waiting for Dakota right now. We can't hear him, but you might be able to see him if we can take that video. Dakota is out at Penn Tower. That's about half a mile from here, and it looks out. He's on his balcony looking out towards Mount Nittany and the view to the north and east. So we can take Dakota. We do have him live right now, and let's go to Dakota. Dakota, what's going on out there?
Paul, click the setting button on Google Hangouts and make sure it's on HD audio device. It's probably on the wrong microphone section. Click the gear and change the mic. Alright, keep talking.
All right, so Dakota is out there. Can we hear Dakota? Do we know if we can hear Dakota?
Make sure that it's on.
Well, if we can't hear him, at least we can see his beautiful face.
Yes, and the nice clouds behind him.
Yeah, overcast skies, a pretty kind of dreary afternoon. Now those clouds are beginning to fill back in.
Yeah, and we might possibly be seeing some showers in our future here in Center County. And right now, some people in the area might be experiencing it.
Yeah, so those showers off to our west. We have some moving through Sykesville, Troutville, Luthersburg, out in Clearfield County. Those are headed to the east. If we animate those, just updating now, again headed towards the east. So Clearfield, Woodland, Wollaston, West Decatur, you're all going to be seeing some of those showers in the next 30 minutes or so. So we're working on getting Dakota's audio back, so we should be able to hear him in just a couple of moments. We'll be able to go live to Penn Tower, that great view, Tussey Mountain Ridge behind you. So we can take you out to Dakota right now.
Hey everybody, so sorry about that problem a little earlier. But yeah, right now we just got some stratus clouds with a few scud clouds near the surface of the, I guess, the ridges out here. We had some severe weather move in earlier, as you guys have been talking about. We might see some showers a little bit later in the day, but for severe weather, I think we're about done in the State College area. We have some flooding concerns came about earlier today, but just a few inches have accumulated on the rooftops out here. Other than that, not much going on. How did you guys fare in the severe weather?
It's probably
All right, yeah, Dakota, really not too much going on where you are, and not too much going on where we are either. Just some cloudy skies here in Center County. Much of the action, again, shifting to our east. We'll see if we have any new severe thunderstorm warnings. Looking like not right now, but I would not be surprised to see them reissue those.
right.
Just getting more papers here. Lots of information coming into our live desk. Christy's going to read over some of those, and I'll tell you about what's going on the radar. York County, again, our biggest concern right now. See if we can actually switch you over to another radar site that's maybe a little bit closer to that. Give you a better idea of what's happening there.
Yes, and York, Northumberland, Schuylkill, and Lebanon, Lancaster, and Dauphin, and Columbia counties are all under the severe thunderstorm warning until 5 p.m. So even after 5 p.m., you might want to keep checking an eye on the sky for severe weather there as well.
Yeah, bad time to be headed outdoors, especially as the severe weather affects much of the Commonwealth.
And the storms are moving somewhat slow, only at 30 miles per hour, so it will take a while for these storms to go through areas this evening.
Oftentimes when we see these storms race across Pennsylvania, they're moving highway speeds, 55, even 60 miles per hour. So these are moving a little bit more slowly, so you have a little bit more time to prepare, but definitely make sure that you're ready.
And other areas in this
Mainly it's when
location
I'm
are the Penn State Harrisburg
That's the
campus and the
biggest
Penn
problem.
State Schuylkill campus. So if you guys are out there
and
walking
I get
between
that.
classes, make sure you are safe with those, as well as Hershey Park. So if there's anybody
mainly when
at the
I'm not
park today,
on it.
you might want to check out, you know, get
Yeah,
into a
I
place
guess
where
it
there
should be
is some
obvious.
shelter.
But I don't know if they were like gonna. It sounded like they were talking to
to
me.
get Dakota back to you in a little bit. We have a new warning in the Allentown area. This warning just going up. We can show you it on radar. We'll show you what's happening. Allentown just being issued through much of Lehigh County, Northampton County,
Give it a shot.
Carbon
I don't even
County,
know
we'll
what
show you
the
what's going on.
deal is with this
That includes,
club.
so if you are in
Really, you
Monroe
got
County, Montgomery County,
not
Carbon
like-
County, Northampton County, Burke County, or Bucks County.
I
yeah.
thought I was supposed to have a
A lot of
conversation.
counties under this warning until 6:15.
I will.
Yeah.
And that is over an hour from now, so you just want to make sure that you are watching the radar, checking weather, and staying with us. And again, if you do want to show us any damage or send us some pictures of the storms, tweet us at PSU Weather.
Yeah, these storms moving to the east at 40 miles per hour, producing damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. We've seen that verify in a couple of cases as they were more toward the east. So Hamburg, Pottsville, Pine Grove, Kutztown University, all going to be affected by these in the next couple of minutes, or the next couple of hours rather.
Yeah, so they're gonna
Reading,
go to meet.
Boyertown,
We're
Quakertown,
supposed to have a
they're all going to be
conversation.
affected. Then eventually,
That time I think we'll just lower.
part of the Lehigh Valley, Allentown, Bethlehem, as we head more towards 6 o'clock.
Yes, and remember these storms have a history of producing strong winds and some hail, so the damaging winds are the biggest threat here today, so make sure you keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, some possible small hail, maybe dime-sized, pea-sized, just to add insult to injury with those strong winds.
Yes.
We'll read off some more of these damage reports, see if there's anything new in the past couple of minutes. Nothing coming in out of Pennsylvania in at least the past half hour or so, which is good news. Just some damage reports coming out of Maryland and Kentucky over the past hour. No hail reports from our state either. Just one report so far today from New Hampshire, actually. So we've been pretty good on the front in terms of hail, but otherwise the wind, the main factor here in our region.
And I know that New Hampshire just was issued some flood watches and warnings, so they probably want to keep an eye out for that. And I don't think we might see anything in flooding. There might be some flash flooding with these storms today.
Definitely some brief flash flooding possible, but mainly these storms have been moving pretty quickly. So
Yes. Just the wind seems to be the biggest threat here.
yeah, it's really a one-and-done type event for much of the state. So things quieting down pretty quickly after the bulk of those winds begin to move through.
I'm talking and
We do have Dakota right now. Let's go live to him. We can hopefully hear him now. So let's take you to Dakota. Dakota, what's going on out there? What are you seeing on Penn Tower?
you know, not much. You know, we had some severe weather roll through earlier, and I was out here, and it was quite windy. Saw a lot of people scurrying around trying to get out of the weather, but a lot of people got caught and were soaked. And luckily, it didn't seem like anyone was injured. The winds weren't terrible. A few close lightning strikes, but other than some rain, I think that's all people really experienced. So right now we have some overcast skies, a few stratocumulus, like we're used to here in State College. Doesn't look like severe weather is going to roll through again, as you guys have been saying. So that's some good news. Maybe a few showers, but other than that, not much going on here in downtown State College.
Yeah, so Dakota, where were you when that storm rolled through about 2 hours ago?
I was right here on the balcony, actually, watching the storm go by. It approached from the opposite direction, so I got to see some of the cool lightning strikes as the storm was moving away from me. I did take a peek at the rain shaft moving through earlier, and it was pretty awesome. Some cool clouds out there.
Now, what were those? What were the wind gusts like where you were?
You know, not that bad. I'd say 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts with some sustained, probably near 15 to 20 sustained. It wasn't terrible. I think the downpours were the worst part of the storms today, especially right down here in downtown State College.
All right, well, thank you, Dakota.
Yeah.
Great live shot out there. Too bad we don't have any Too bad you weren't there, or we didn't have it during that severe weather rolling through, but still, always nice to see that view.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, let's take you back to the radar now and show you what's going on.
That was good. That was good.
Things are quieting down to the north, Christy.
Yes, it does. It looks like those storms
perfect.
are kind of disintegrating, so that is good news to the people to the northern PA.
How are they going to know it's not Dakota anymore?
They can see.
Still a lot going on towards the southern portion of the state.
This doesn't work, but it's
allows us,
just
the severe thunderstorm warning to the north being canceled, allows us now focus in on what's going on, the biggest threat towards the southern portion of Pennsylvania.
And it looks like that storm has finally approached York, so they will be experiencing now those severe damaging winds.
He should do that again.
Look at those traffic cameras along 83.
So probably he should have
And
another
you can see
conversation with him.
you basically can't really see the rain is looking down on there right now.
Yeah, 83 through York, a very rough drive right now. We're looking at the traffic cameras. People have all their high beams on. You can't see anything on those roadways. It looks like it's a nighttime.
It does.
140G.
Possibly, and even some areas, no images available, so there could be wind damage with those cameras being down, possibly along the roadway.
Yeah, this camera right here, 83 at Pennsylvania 181,
And
totally
so
covered in rain.
The way you'll hear if you're on is that
Slow going along 83. This one, you can barely see the roadway.
Yeah. So you might want to pull over if you are driving.
No
just
countdown.
to stay safe
They'll just say
in
we're
case,
gonna.
But they're definitely, these cameras have shown what difference there is between when the storm hadn't hit yet and now when the storm is approaching or there.
Yeah, totally different story on the roadways now that this line of storms is beginning to move through.
Is that good?
So coming back out here now, we'll show you what's going on. Again, those storms, Lebanon, Pine Grove, Pottsville, all being affected more towards the north of York. So we have Drew Nartussis at Penn Towers. What did you see, Drew?
In regards to what? During the storm, I was basically in my math class, and all of a sudden everybody realized that there was a bunch of wind outside, so obviously all the media kids stand up out of their seats and just stop doing math, pay attention to the storm out there. And it was really interesting because, like, I haven't seen that many storms or big storms in Happy Valley because I'm a freshman. I only saw the one about a week ago or so, and this one. And it was pretty interesting, though. It was a good view from my classroom.
All right, yeah, thanks, Drew. Math class, definitely not a fun place to be during some of those storms.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, did you get caught in that class change period when the storm happened, or did you manage to get away?
I managed to already be in the Walker building, but again, kids coming into my geography class were soaking wet whenever they got in. And we were in the computer lab, so my TA wasn't very happy about them bringing in stopping weather to the computer lab.
I can tell you the entire bottom half of my pants leg was completely soaked.
Let's try and get these lights
So
on.
one of the big rules of being on this campus, always bring an umbrella.
making a
Yes, always bring an umbrella or even wear rain boots. That I always had was handy.
Definitely some of those freshmen new to the campus, definitely being caught in the rain.
Yes.
And hopefully no people being caught in the rain. Hopefully everyone's prepared off to the eastern portion of the state, unlike some of the people here on this campus. Busy afternoon across York County. So let's go to Twitter again. We can see what's going on our Twitter account. No one tweeting pictures at us yet. We'd love to see some of them.
Yes, I would love to see some interesting pictures. I know last week when we had some storms, I tried to get a picture of lightning, and I finally got my shot of lightning. So it'd be interesting to see your viewer pictures because I know you're probably a better photographer than I am. So make sure you tweet to us at PSU Weather.
Yeah, Ryan Breton tweeting another cool shot of the clouds from Penn State campus. Really some dark, ominous clouds as that storm moved through.
We did see some dark clouds, and I'm sure the eastern half of the state are experiencing those dark clouds as well right now.
So it goes
Especially
video, then pro, and then audio. There's three.
Especially when we we looked at those traffic
It
cameras.
definitely looked like it was nighttime.
Yeah, definitely tough to see what was going on there out in York County. Rough day to be boating on the Susquehanna too.
Yeah. Definitely, if
I
you
wanna
were
move
off
it.
the river, kayaking or anything,
What do they hear me through? Is it
move
like
off the river at
The
this
camera.
Oh, the camera?
It
Oh,
was
okay.
a beautiful day. I bet a lot of people were out there.
Talking
Hopefully they had a Thursday
Yeah,
off.
talk
They
a
were
little louder.
enjoying some outdoor activities, but now a bad time for that. With that humidity being squashed by that those strong storms.
Strong storms. But the good news is we do have nice weather for basically the entire state of Pennsylvania coming this weekend.
This one, the blue one?
Weekend activities.
All right, so let's go back out to Drew at Penn Tower. Drew, what's going on?
It seems to be clearing up a little bit to the west. I can see some clear skies and some sunshine over there. To the east still looks a little bit ominous, but that's all past us, so we don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah, Drew, definitely we're seeing the same thing, beginning to clear up a little bit. Some more showers maybe, but looks like a pretty good view that you have right there.
Yeah. It's nice to see over the the south of campus. The clouds all over the mountains. It's a very good view.
Drew, did you happen to see anything during the storm? Were you caught in the storm this afternoon when it went through Center County?
When I went through, I was, as I said, in my class. I first saw the tree outside just violently shaking, and I was just like, oh man, I'm so upset that I'm in my math class right now. I'd rather be outside or in the Walker building. But as soon as class ended, I went to go see if it was raining, and there you go, it was downpouring. And everybody else who wasn't paying attention to the storm moving through kept just ran through it thinking it wasn't going to stop, but like I had been keeping up to date with it, so I knew that it would probably pass through pretty quick. So there, give or take 5 or 10 minutes of wait after class, I was able to walk home wet free.
Now, Drew, is veteran reporter Dakota Smith available right now?
Yes, he is. Would you like to talk to him?
Yeah, can we have him join us live?
All right, let's go, Dakota.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, Dakota. So
How are
we
you?
were having a little bit of issues hearing you earlier. Do you want to give us another report of what you saw this afternoon with the storms going through Center County?
Yeah, sure thing. So I was out here on the balcony of 1107 Penn Tower, and the storm rolled through from the opposite side of the building. So I saw it mainly exit, and I got a lot of good view of the lightning strikes. There were some gusty winds around, I say 30-mile-per-hour gusts, and just downpour of rain. There were people out here that didn't even see it coming. It was like a wall of water just came through and got everybody, caught them off guard, most definitely. But now, as you see, we got some strato Q out here. Not much going on, and it doesn't sound like we're going to see any more severe weather in the State College area.
All right, and now we do have Matt Flournoy from the Penn State Storm Chase team joining us. Thank you, Dakota, for that report again. So Matt's here.
It's all production.
So Matt, good to be with you.
Thank you.
So what did you see this afternoon?
So me and a few other kids went up to Snowshoe, which is about 20 or 30 minutes north of State College. And we saw some gusty winds up to 60 or 70 miles an hour, as well as some pea-sized hail.
Wow, that's much more intense than what we saw here at State College.
Yes, it was. You guys got the southern end of it, and we got some of the Boeing echo, which is basically where the core of the fastest winds are. So that's what hit us.
Yeah, we can actually take you back on radar, or we would be able to if we were at the other radar site. But that bow echo, as we call them, during severe weather, produces pretty strong winds, right? Can you tell us about those?
It's pretty strong winds. So basically, when it bows out, that means that section of the storm is traveling faster than the rest of the storm. So that's why the center of it bows out in front of the bookends, or the ends of that echo. So that's where the core of the fastest winds are, and that's what hit us basically. So.
Yeah, so you were out there with the Penn State Storm Chase, actually a new club this year, and you happen to be the president of it. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about what that is?
Basically, we got inspiration to start this about a year ago, last September, when we went on a similar chase to today. We went all the way out to New York and Fishkill, actually, and we intercepted a squall line in New Jersey, and it was pretty intense. And when we got back to school, we decided that we should start a club, and after a few months of deliberation and managing things and getting things through the hub, we finally got it passed. So. We're an official club now.
It's pretty exciting. I know I was out with you guys about a week and a half ago. Great opportunity to go see some severe weather, learn about severe storms, and see all that going on. We saw some very cool stuff.
Yeah, and apart from the storms, we're also going to invite guest lecturers and professional storm chasers in to talk to us about their experiences in the field and things like that. So it's a lot more than just storm chasing, which it kind of has to be since there's not storms a lot in PA. So we have to have other opportunities available for students in the club.
Now, Henry Margusiti from AccuWeather earlier this week.
Yes.
And he actually, I understand he has a Penn State Storm Chase team shirt now.
Yes, we gave him a shirt. He wore it on his briefing the next day when he was actually talking about the outbreak for today. So we thank him a lot for that. That was very nice of him.
So what do you think about these storms that are moving through York County into Lancaster County right now?
So I'm thinking that the southeastern portions of this, which is the portions that you're looking at right now in southern PA, those are the areas that they didn't have a lot of clouds earlier this morning. So based on, I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but based on my knowledge of it, I would say that those areas, those storms aren't going to die out soon. They're going to keep on rumbling eastward because they can feed off of all that that heat and that energy because the sun has been shining there for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to continue rumbling on eastward, and it looks like there's some good hail cores in there too.
Yeah, we can actually take a tighter look at this storm moving through York County right now. We were just looking at some traffic cams on I-80, 83 earlier. Looked like rough going as you head south towards the Maryland line.
Yeah, I would expect that. I mean, right in there, all those reds that you see, that's the heavy rain, and especially once you get into the pink, it's very high reflectivity. So that you would expect hail in some of those areas as well. So that could definitely be impede on people's driving, obviously on the roads and things like that.
So we're going to show you a tool that we use as meteorologists. It's called a velocity mode. It allows us to detect rotation within those storms, show you when there might be a little bit of rotation, maybe even a possible tornado. We're not really seeing that threat today.
Yeah.
So tell us what this means to you.
Yeah, we're not seeing that much today. Down south right here, you just see the greens, which means that, is this the State College radar, Tino, or is this a different radar?
This is the radar out of New Jersey.
Okay, so the green in this case indicates that the air is moving towards the radar, and it's basically all green. So if there was rotation, you would see green and red close together, red being going away from the radar. But in this case, it's all going towards it, and it's it's light in some places. The lighter it is here, I think that the faster the winds are. So it's moving at a pretty quick rate across the state. So I think you won't see any rotation with these, at least not at the current moment, but you will see some strong, straight moving winds. Yeah, right now the estimate's around 60 miles an hour or so.
Yeah, the good news with these storms, at least here in Pennsylvania, is that we weren't really expecting any tornadoes today. That if there were going to be tornadoes today, they'd be more towards northern New England, where you have some more of those parameters that enable us to get rotation.
And some of those parameters are like deep layer shear, which is basically the winds are changing a lot with height, which allows for a lot more spin. And also, especially at the low levels. And the only places where that was really in effect for today were places like northern Maine and northern New Hampshire and Vermont. And even those places aren't seeing that much in the way of tornadic activity.
So definitely they're lucking out up there.
They are lucking out, yes.
And of course, no one ever wants to see a tornado around here. So in the next 10 minutes, we're going to take you down to the studio. Travis Patterson and Christy Shields, two of our expert meteorologists, they'll be continuing to cover the weather and show you what's going on here across the state of Pennsylvania. And we're going to be down there in about 10 minutes or so as we come up on the 5 o'clock hour.
Okay.
So, yeah, unfortunately, you guys weren't able to get out there to this really heavy area in southeastern Pennsylvania.
No, we weren't. We did have a chase team head out east a little ways, and then they hit a cell that was developing, but that was more in central Pennsylvania. It was down south, but it was not what you're looking at right now.
Yeah, this really looks like the most active area.
Yeah, that's the most active, and that's, like I said, that's because the sun has really been shining down there for a long time. So that's why the storms are really starting to fire up and continue to rumble across the southeastern portions of the state and not the northern portions so much anymore.
Yeah, so these storms really being fueled by instability today. High in State College today, around 82, 83 degrees.
Yeah, that's what it was. And now we saw, I think it was a 14 or 15 degree temperature change over 20 minutes when that front rolled through. So I think we're pretty much done for the day here in State College. The sun has been shining a little bit, though, so don't quote me on that. We could get some more heating, and if a storm rumbles through, it could, I mean, it won't be severe, but it could be strong, but I don't think we'll see much more in the way of
just enough to cause maybe a few problems.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
And
the area.
Remember, tweet us at PSU Weather, at PSU Storm Chase.
Yes, PSU Storm Chase.
And we'll be able to share those pictures. PSU Storm Chase is taking off pretty quickly. You guys are up to almost 500 followers now.
Yes. I'm not much of a Twitter guy, so I don't know the Twitter statistics. But on Facebook, I know we have around 350 followers, I think. More than that. So we've definitely gotten a lot of attention in the past week or so because there have been a number of events go through PA.
Yeah, your images being shared by respective media outlets like the Penn State official Twitter account, Onward State.
Yes.
A lot of people picking up on what you guys are doing.
Yeah, especially, our photography is something that we're doing a lot of right now. We're hoping to get more into the severe storm side of things, especially in the spring when that really starts ramping up. But for now, we're basically more into the photography and especially sunsets, as you see in some of our stuff on Facebook. When there's not storms, we really like sunsets. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Matt. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
And really appreciate your time. And hopefully we will get some live reports from you next time on the field.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to turn you now over to the local radar. We're going to take you around the state, show you what's going on at this hour. Start up in the northern portion of the state, up towards Meadville, Erie. Not too much going on there right now. Just a couple of showers and storms pushing through Crawford County, Mercer County, Venango County over the next couple of minutes. As we head down towards the south, towards Pittsburgh, more showers just passing the metro area, headed towards the west as we head through the next few minutes. And then not too much with going on there. We understand we have 9 viewers, so thank you all for sticking with us. Really great to have you here. Not as we cover this severe weather. Obviously, this would be a little bit more of an exciting broadcast if we could show you what's going on here. We're actually going to bring in James Hilweck, another Penn State meteorologist. James is going to tell us about what he experienced during the storms that rolled through Center County earlier this afternoon. So, James, what did you see?
Yeah, I was actually in the Walker building when the storm hit. I was in the middle of a class. It ended about 2:15, and I walked outside of the class and I saw it was pouring, like seemingly out of nowhere, and everyone was crowded around the doors and like waiting to go out. I was there with my last meteorology professor. He was waiting by the door too, and he said it would take about like 5 minutes until everything cleared up, and sure enough, it did. Within 5 minutes, everything had passed, and skies were starting to clear up.
Yeah, so a short-lived event, obviously hitting at the wrong time for both of us.
Yeah.
That tough walk over to Leonard Building, which is actually way up there on West Campus, as you look behind us. So, yeah, not too big of a deal here in central Pennsylvania, but again, as we look at that radar, a lot going on towards the eastern portion of the state.
Yeah, it certainly looks like we missed the worst part of it.
Yeah, so why don't we take a look at some of those severe warnings. I know we haven't updated you on those in a little while. Most recent one being issued about 15 minutes ago in Lancaster County. That's in effect for the next hour. National Weather Service is using some pretty intense language. Destructive winds in excess of 70 miles per hour possible.
Yeah, you definitely want to get out of the way of those.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever experienced a thunderstorm like that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, central Pennsylvania not really known for severe weather.
No.
But down towards Lancaster County, York County, that's actually, as we like to refer to it, the severe weather capital of Pennsylvania. They often experience potential tornadoes down there, some strong lines of storms as we're seeing today. So that's the busy portion of Pennsylvania when it comes to severe weather, just north of Baltimore. Farther to the north, we still have those severe thunderstorm warnings in effect near the Allentown area. That warning issued about 20-25 minutes ago, still in effect through 6:15 tonight. And we're going to continue to show you what's going on there. As we head up farther towards the north, we just have some run-of-the-mill thunderstorms moving through the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, Montrose, up in Susquehanna County, seeing some of that, but those aren't severe thunderstorms anymore. Those are just regular storms, maybe producing some small hail, winds gusting in the 40-mile-an-hour range, 30 to 40-mile-an-hour range. But otherwise, not too much going on there. Things quieting down as you head along 84 and 80 east towards New York City and the Catskills. So let's take a look at the radar here in State College. Really pretty quiet as you look off behind us.
Yeah, we have nothing really going on as we look out the window here. The skies are pretty clear to the west of us.
Yeah, plenty of sunshine actually breaking out now across Happy Valley. Some beautiful weather that will be taking over as we head into tomorrow. Pretty cool out there, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to cool down a lot. I heard the low is supposed to get into the 50s or low 60s, which is definitely a big change from what has been in the earlier part of the week. So it'll be a relief to some people.
Yeah, so things quieting down and cooling down. We're going from weather that's more like July and August straight into October as we head towards the weekend. Temperatures cooling down to near 60 degrees the high for tomorrow, with some of those clouds and showers persisting. And then as we head into the weekend, I know Penn State Nittany Lions taking on University of Central Florida tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night, rather. Saturday night at 6 o'clock. You headed to that game?
Yep, 6 o'clock game time. Hope to see everyone out there tailgating pretty early. Cheer on the Nittany Lions as we pull in another victory.
Yeah, so hopefully another victory for the Nittany Lions and some great weather for it. Though probably will be feeling pretty chilly for those Central Florida players, they're really not used to those temperatures in the 50s and 40s.
Hopefully that'll give us some sort of advantage, as we know it will be late in the day.
So definitely that cooler weather. So it will come as quite a shock for some people who have maybe gotten a little bit too used to those temperatures in the 80s and even 90s over the past couple of days. Then warming up as we head towards your Sunday, temperatures lower 70s, and then next week looking pretty quiet. But first, again, we have to get through these storms that are moving through eastern Pennsylvania. They have been causing some damage as they push through the eastern portion of the state. Let's read some of these damage reports off. We haven't seen too much in the past hour or so, but again, lots of reports coming out of the western portion of the state, central Pennsylvania, as we have gone through the past couple of hours. Power outages right now. First Energy Corporation reporting about 8,500 people without power. Most of those people are in, most of those customers in York County, where again we've been talking about that dangerous line of storms moving through over the past several minutes. So we, again, are watching for those people. York County, they do have a lot of customers, though, so the good news is only 1% of people being affected there, but I'm sure those people definitely aren't happy to be without power.
Yeah, and you can see in Lycoming, they have 20% of customers are being affected right now.
Yeah, Lycoming, not a great place to be right now if you want to have power. 20% of those people affected by those power outages. Let's see, Cummings Township, 165 out of 440 customers without power. And McHenry Township, almost all of McHenry Township without power right now in Lycoming County.
So I hope you guys get that up and running soon.
Yeah, and if you do want to report an outage, you can call Penn Power, First Energy, Penn Elect, all those companies at 1-888-LIGHTS. That's LIGHTSS. 2 S's on that. That's 888-544-4877. So if you do experience a power outage with these storms, do get in contact with First Energy Corp, and they'll be able to help you out and restore your power. So let's show you the radar, and we're getting ready to head down to the studio. We do have Travis Patterson and Christy Shields live down there. Thank you, James, for joining me, and we'll head down there. Travis and Christy, update us on the situation.
Studio is live, studio is live, studio is live.
We'll call that up, guys.
this is a severe thunderstorm watch. It's been canceled for central Pennsylvania for good reason. You know, so there's not much happening out here as the front has now crossed through the area. And like I say, you could actually see a pretty nice sunset for central and western Pennsylvania, but that is the focus across the east. You can see these bright whites, those associated with the higher cloud tops, the thunderstorms, and the convective clouds. Temperatures are helping to fuel these storms. You can see where it hasn't rained yet. 84 in Allentown, 87 in Philadelphia. This is where the storms have not made it yet, but 60s and 70s for the rest of us. This is leading into that new air mass that will be settling in over the next couple of days. Dew points will be responding. You can't see right now, but these will be dropping in the days to come. Will be much more comfortable by the weekend. But one more quick look at this. We have severe thunderstorm warnings for the Lehigh Valley, the southern Poconos, and down into Lancaster County and even points south of that. So we'll continue to keep you posted on this as this line moves off to the east. For now, Travis and Christy, we're going to send it back over to you.
Well, thank you, Ben. As he was mentioning, there are a lot of warnings out there for these storms. Christy, let's go over some of the hazards that are associated with these storms that issue these warnings.
So what we've seen recently is damaging winds. That's the biggest threat here. And then we've also seen heavy downpours in most areas. We saw those live on the Penn cameras when I was upstairs with Brad. So those are basically your biggest threats here right now. And even some cloud-to-ground lightning. I know some of the cameras and areas along the highways have been struck by lightning, so there is that possibility of that dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning.
Yes, definitely. If you see any lightning, hear any thunder, you need to move indoors because it is very dangerous out there, folks. Not just intra-cloud lightning, but you also have, as you mentioned, cloud-to-ground lightning, rather. And we have an update on some of these trees reporting down, so let's go over some of these here. In our region, Central County, we saw some trees and wires down on Jacksonville Road, just about a mile east-northeast of here, and that seems to be the case for much of central Pennsylvania. But these storms are firing up east of us, and they're packing a punch as well.
Yes, and we did see recently that all the power outages were slowly creeping to basically being decreased. Not many people without power. But as these storms do move into the Philadelphia metropolitan area, we'll see more power outages with these damaging winds as we get to heavily populated areas.
That's right, and it is rush hour right now in the metro region, so that's definitely posing a danger for anyone that's commuting home after work. So definitely keep tuned to the weather and keep an update on these warnings, as a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning is out in the region, and heavy downpours. You could be stuck in traffic easily in the Philadelphia region. And also, some of these cloud-to-ground lightning strikes have caused power outages across the state, and quite possibly several trees down. Even some could have caught fire from those lightning strikes.
Right, so you really want to make sure that you keep looking, keep checking at the radars or anything. If you are planning to go on your journey home this evening, it's definitely something you want to keep an eye out for in the eastern half of the state. It's definitely kind of a dangerous situation out there for September.
Definitely, and Philadelphia has not gotten hit yet. They've been sitting in a very soupy air mass, dew points in the lower 70s. Temperatures today got into the upper 80s, approaching that 90-degree mark. So some of these storms, as they get closer to the city, could refire up and get even more dangerous and stronger. So definitely keep an eye on the radar. We will keep you updated. We could even see another warning or two issued out later this evening for more cloud-to-ground lightning, definitely heavy downpours, and also just all in all, it's a very dangerous situation out there, folks. If you're out and about commuting home from work, pay attention to the weather before you leave the office, or even stay in the office until these storms pass this evening.
Yes, and if you want to send us any of your pictures of damage that you've seen today, or even in past storms, or even some pictures as the storm approaches your area, please tweet to us at PSU Weather.
Yes, we're actually working on some of these pictures that have been sending into our Twitter feed as well as Facebook. We have a storm chasing team out in the field right now in northeastern Pennsylvania. They were chasing a squall line that was moving through. They have some pretty amazing pictures out there. The vice president of the Penn State chase team, Jacob DeFlitch, will be sending in some viewer photos as well at a later point. We're working on those graphics for now. I'm sure many of you have some great shots of lightning out there and cloud structures, so we really appreciate it if you could send those into our Penn State Twitter at
PSU Weather.
PSU Weather.
So make sure, and we'll keep checking our Twitter feeds as the evening goes on for checking those for those pictures from our viewers, which is really important to us because not only does it let us know what kind of weather happened, but it gives us some awesome pictures as well.
That's right. And now we want to take a look at Center Region. We're going to go toss it to Dakota out at Penn Towers in downtown State College.
Thanks, guys. So we have a typical State College weather out here.
Dakota, are you there?
Yeah, I am here. Hello? Can you hear me?
Dakota?
Yeah, can you hear me? Or?
Dakota, are you with us?
I am, yes, I'm with you. No communication. Well, I'm just gonna...
So we're working on the feed for Penn Towers live shot to give us an update on the weather that is pushed through Center County, and hopefully Dakota will be with us here in just a moment with an update on the storms that have pushed out of the area.
Yes, and I know that he was at Penn Towers whenever the storm did hit, so he did see a higher up in the sky view of the storm, because that is the highest building here at Penn State in Happy Valley. So we will get him hopefully soon here on the show.
And I'm sure he has quite an update as the gust front pushed through Center County just around 2:50 this afternoon. So we usually have seen winds approaching the 45-mile-per-hour mark. So he should be an interesting person to talk to once we get him later on the phone. But which actually we have him live now, and we want to go send it over to Dakota Smith out at Penn Towers, downtown State College.
Hey guys, can you hear me now? Anything? Well, out here we have some stratocumulus clouds that have built in quite a bit, actually. It was pretty clear.
We have technical difficulties with this, so he'll be with us shortly here on the
Audio
show.
is off, but you can hear him out there.
Oh. I could never hear if he got on or not.
Where are the earbuds here?
Oh yeah, Christy brought my backpack down.
Where are the white ones? Go we're here.
Still no sound?
Yeah.
I just heard you say that.
9 viewer thing. Stitching. Sticky. We have 9 viewer photos.
No.
Oh.
So sexy.
Hope not.
Insert iOS 7. Show guys.
Okay, so Dakota is here with us live. Dakota, can you give us some reports of what you saw earlier today?
Yeah, so earlier today I was out here and the storm moved through and it was quite gusty. I'd say around 30-mile-per-hour gusts. And if I'm looking out right here on all the balconies, and there's quite a few chairs that have toppled over.
Put one in one ear and one in your ear.
I noticed a lot of people were going outside and trying to get their stuff together. Didn't quite make it. The rain also caught a lot of people off guard. I saw some people soaking wet in the elevator earlier today. Other than that, not much going on. We had a few lightning strikes that were close, but not the worst storm we've seen here in Happy Valley this summer and even last semester. There are a few inches of rain on the tops of the buildings, but flooding wasn't really a big concern as the storm moved through very quickly. I certainly enjoyed the storm. I know others who got caught in it did not. I'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
So Dakota, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What did the people who got stuck in the rain that you spoke to, what were their complaints about this storm? Was it the wind or was it the rain?
I think generally it was the rain, and the storm moved through during a period where there are a lot of people outside moving from class and out of class into class, but I think the rain was the big problem for them. Winds didn't seem to be too much of a problem. People were drenched and I guess without their umbrella got caught off guard very quickly as the storm moved through pretty quickly.
That's right. And Dakota, you mentioned earlier that we saw a few cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, but most of the heavy stuff has moved out of our region, but there is some storms off to our north and west, so we could expect to see another round. What do you think about this?
I think we're about done here. I know the cold front still has to make its full passage through here, but I think here in Happy Valley, I think we're done with storms today. Strato Q has built through, maybe a few showers, but other than that, I don't see another rumble of thunder moving through.
Dakota, from your end of things, do you think the storms that are slowly approaching Philadelphia metropolitan area will pack a punch to the Philadelphia region?
I do. There's still some unstable air ahead of those storms, and I expect those to kind of ignite throughout the evening. Hopefully it doesn't take out too much power. I know you guys are updating us greatly with those power outages.
That's right. Well, we want to thank you, Dakota, for calling in this report for the weather in downtown State College. If we see any more developing storms approaching the center region, I'm sure we'll be in touch with you at a later moment.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, that was an update from Dakota Smith, downtown State College. As he said, the storms mostly are over for us here in Citrus County. He only saw a few cloud ground lightning strikes, a bit of heavy downpour as students got caught in the rain here.
Yes. So it wasn't too bad here in Centre County, but it has been bad in other regions. And right now that line of storms is slowly encroaching on Reading, PA. So they're next to be hit by this severe line of storms.
That's right. And as we mentioned earlier, the Philadelphia region, rather, is still in a very soupy air mass, as Dakota mentioned. It's unstable down there. The storms have not moved through, so we could actually see the storms that are just off to the west of them really develop and still pack a punch for that region. And it is rush hour right now, so we want to definitely keep a look out for the Philadelphia region. But we actually have live on the phone right now Jacob DeFlitch. He's the vice president of the Penn State Chase team. Jacob, how are you doing?
How are you doing, Chad?
I'm doing great. Where is your location at the moment?
Currently, we're making our way back. We just left Lewistown. We've been chasing for good, I believe, for 5 hours now.
And what is the worst you've seen as you were chasing? Can you let us know what county saw the worst weather that you chased in?
Yeah, when first we made our way east on I-80, then we made our way south on south. We got the exit of Milton, and we ended up north of Harrisburg, where we caught a line that was east of Liverpool. It had a nice show fly. It was a hail core. We didn't not reach the hail core, but the heavy rains definitely obstructed GP's drive on the way back.
It's very interesting. Definitely pretty fabulous storm structures out there, but these storms are not just fabulous to look at, they also pack a punch. So did you see any cloud-to-ground lightning or any tree damage across the region that you were chasing in today?
We saw a few cloud the first time that we did chase. It was right over the hill where we were. And it was the gust front that went through, I would say it was probably about 50 to 60 miles an hour. On our way back, trying to get to a different storm, we drove over some limbs and some small branches that were on the ground along the road.
So just a few limbs down where you were at. We've had several reports of major trees down across the state earlier this afternoon. Another line is pushing towards Philadelphia region. Do you have any plans to chase that line of storms, or are you headed back to central Pennsylvania?
I believe we're playing out in the central PA. We were trying to get in front of those line of storms. Unfortunately, we were unable to make it because the road that we went on turned sharply to the southwest, and by the time we tried to move south back east, we wouldn't have made it in time on the rain course. So we decided to call it a day and start heading back west in the central PA.
Well, thank you.
Probably a good thing because it is getting dark out there, so the farther you chase into the evening hours, the more dangerous it gets. But we want to thank you for your live report, and we actually will wish you a safe return back here to central Pennsylvania. Thank you, Jake.
Brad is up
Sounds
next.
good. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks. Brad is up next to update us as well.
All right, thank you very much, Christy and Travis. I'm here at the interview desk with Hunter Williams. He's joining me now to tell me a little bit about what you saw during the storm.
Well, when the storms came through, I was actually in math class, and first thing I noticed about the storms was the wind. I saw earlier that AccuWeather recorded a 45-mile-per-hour gust. I definitely don't have a hard time believing that, given what I saw. The rain was also coming down pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually walked back and braved the storm, I might say, and walked back to my dorm. Got pretty wet. There were definitely a lot of students out and about, but yeah, it was a great storm.
Now, where on campus were you during the storm?
I was actually over near the engineering building on the west side of campus. Ended up walking back over to the east side of campus. I actually saw some nice lightning on the way back.
Yeah, I saw some of that from my math class out in electrical engineering. So yeah, busy day here on the Penn State campus. And when was the last time you saw some severe weather?
Well, I'm actually from Alabama. I'm not from around here. I saw severe weather most notably about 2 years ago in the April 27th, 2011 tornado outbreaks down in Alabama, and it was pretty incredible stuff to watch.
Yeah, that was, if you don't remember, that was a very powerful outbreak of tornadoes that caused a lot of damage and unfortunately a lot of deaths in your part of Alabama.
Yeah, I remember they came through. My area directly was not impacted, but there was debris from the tornado actually fell in my yard. To this day, I have pieces of that debris in my room. It kind of reminds me of what happened.
Mm-hmm. So you live in the Birmingham area?
Yeah, I do live in the Birmingham metro area.
So how far were you from the tornado touchdowns?
I live on the south side of the city, and the tornado did come through on the north side. I would say it's 10 to 15 miles away.
So that's a little too close for comfort.
Definitely.
Yeah, Tuscaloosa the hardest hit though?
Yeah, Tuscaloosa was definitely devastated by those storms. I had driven through there a couple weeks after, and the devastation was amazing. It's impossible to comprehend.
Yeah, I was interning at a TV station during that outbreak, and I remember we were just stunned when we took those live pictures from Alabama and saw Tuscaloosa just being decimated. So definitely a tough time to live in Alabama.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to head back down to Christy and Travis, and they're going to update us a little bit more on what's going on in just a second. But let's talk a little bit more ourselves about what's going on here in central Pennsylvania. Pretty quiet now, right?
Yeah, the storm seemed to have moved through about 2 hours ago, but it's looking pretty quiet now with just clouds.
Yeah, so let's pull up that radar. So look at this with me. I think the biggest part, the biggest impact now in southeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the storm seemed to have moved past us, moving more towards the Philadelphia area. Should be affecting them within the next hour or two.
Yeah, it looks like Lancaster, Reading, Kutztown University, all being affected right now. So this severe thunderstorm warning just being reissued a couple of minutes ago, 5:21 p.m. Radar indicating this line of severe thunderstorm warnings, or severe thunderstorms, producing damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. So really a pretty dangerous situation for those people.
Yeah, with those winds, those 70-mile-per-hour winds coupled with a little bit of small hail, that's definitely a dangerous situation moving eastern across the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so that's we're going to continue to monitor that situation, and I think that Travis and Christy are able to tell us a little bit more. But first, we're going to go to Ben Reppert at the wall. He's going to tell us, he's going to zoom in and show you exactly what's happening as we hit through the next hour. Ben, what's going on?
Yeah, you're all set. Ben is live.
And here we have Ben Reppert.
So let's show you what's going on right now. This line of storms continues to race off to the east at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. It's running out of Pennsylvanians to bother, but we still have very intense thunderstorms now going right along the some county borders here. Allentown, you're under the gun right now. You can see these outlines here, severe thunderstorm warnings. Allentown is just about to get in on some of this very heavy rain. The Northeast Extension, if you're traveling or commuting on the Northeast Extension, you may have to pull off on the side of the road in a few minutes because it's really going to come down. Reading, you're about to get hit with a pretty heavy thunderstorm within minutes. Along 76, 176, 222, 422, all of the commuter roads to and from Philadelphia are about to get really impacted within the next half hour or so. And then even farther south, Lancaster, you just saw a heavy thunderstorm go through as well. A severe thunderstorm warning continues for you guys. And this is pretty much the last of it. Once this continues to push off to the east and get out of Pennsylvania, I'd say by about 6 o'clock or so, it should be out of the Commonwealth. And then we've got clearing to look forward to, which is currently in the center part of the state right now. That storm that moved through State College about 2 to 3 o'clock. Now we're seeing sunshine breaking out, and that will be the trend as we continue through the evening. The severe thunderstorm watch for central Pennsylvania, of course, has been canceled, but it still continues for the east because of this line that continues to move through. But again, Allentown, you're just about to get into it. Philadelphia, you are not far behind. I'd say by about 6 o'clock, the storms will be in the Philadelphia metropolitan area. And you can see the clouds are starting to thin out here across central Pennsylvania. These bright whites, though, this is the area where you're seeing those really high convective cloud tops, and they will continue to push off to the east. As I said before, where it hasn't rained, that's where it's still pretty warm. 80s are wild in the east, but then behind it, where the front has crossed, we are back in the 70s, and that will be the trend. The dew points will begin to respond soon as well, so we're going to be seeing a drop in the humidity as this rain continues to push off to the east. But again, just a few lingering severe thunderstorm warnings for Northampton County, Monroe County, Lehigh, Berks, Lancaster, and extreme western Chester counties. If you're in any of those counties right now, seek shelter. When thunder roars, go indoors. That's what we always say. Even if you're a weather weenie, you got to stay safe out there. So that's what we're talking about. This severe thunderstorms means conditions are favorable. If not, they're already occurring. Damaging wind, large hail, frequent lightning, and very heavy rain are the predominant impacts. Be prepared and, of course, take shelter until these storms pass. That is the very latest from the Weather Center. We're going to send it back over to Travis and Christy.
Well, thank you for that update on the radar, Ben. Just another update on the severe thunderstorm warning you were mentioning in southeastern Pennsylvania. That will expire in about 45 minutes, but these storms are moving a good 35 miles per hour to the east, and they're packing a good 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So definitely dangerous situations out there.
Yes, it's a very dangerous situation. But right now we're back live at Penn Towers with Drew, and he has some information. I know that he was at math whenever the storm hit here in Center County, so he has some more information from this afternoon.
Yes. I was in my classroom, and I saw a bunch of clouds go by, and it started to get darker outside. So everybody in the classroom, especially all the media kids, started averting their eyes from what was actually going on in class to more of the outside world and the weather and stuff. And it seemed pretty interesting because not many people were prepared for the storm, those of us who have actually been keeping up with it knew exactly what would happen and were prepared with their umbrellas and rain jackets and stuff.
So, Drew, do you think that the people that weren't prepared might possibly be prepared in case the storm does hit in the future?
Yeah, I think this might have been a wake-up call for a couple of students, especially some freshmen in my math class, because they definitely weren't prepared for it, and I'm sure that they didn't enjoy getting wet, especially if they had to go to another class and sit through that all wet. So I'm thinking that they're going to be checking the weather a little bit more often. Hopefully the campus weather service forecast, get some good service going in through here. And yeah, I think we should see a bit of a change in the actions of our student body.
That's right, and those students can follow us at PSU Weather for updates on any severe weather and any weather that can affect us here on campus. But Drew, what are you seeing in the skies right now? Are the students back out? Are they roaming the streets at all?
As for students, we see a couple of students down there. There definitely isn't as much as there were before. Maybe the certain grayness that has come over Happy Valley now is starting to scare them away from coming outside. There's a bit more stratus clouds peering in, seemingly from the northwest area. So I'm pretty sure that they're afraid that it's going to rain again, so they're going to be staying inside.
Well, Drew, did you see when you were in math class, did you see anything in the reports of wind damage or anything outside the classroom window?
Outside the classroom window, we pretty much had one thing to focus on, which was this giant tree, and we saw that swing like crazy. So I would assume that maybe some other weaker trees or diseased trees could definitely be falling down and causing some wind damage. Nothing that I could have seen, but I can definitely see there possibly being some elsewhere in the valley.
Yes, and that's always scary to see a tree shaking out the window, and hopefully, and it's a good thing that it didn't fall down on you guys while you were learning mathematics.
So true. Actually, it probably would have made it better.
I'm sure here in the Weather Center we all understand how difficult math can be at times.
Oh, definitely. I know I've struggled with some math classes. I wish there was some severe weather going on during my classes that would get me outdoors and taking some great photos, which I'm sure you also caught.
Drew, did you see anybody in class taking pictures of the storm as it approached?
There wasn't many people taking pictures of the storm per se, but there were definitely a lot of media kids checking their phones for the weather, seeing what the storm was doing, kind of getting a gauge of when the rain might start, when the rain might end. The other students seemed a little bit more focused on their studies and their classwork, but that's to be assumed.
And how did your professor react to the storm as it came through? Did they stop, with their lesson, or did they continue to teach throughout the entire storm?
It was actually kind of funny what happened, because we were taking Math 140G, which is more of a earth and mineral science spin to math, or at least from the freshman level, and we were doing a problem that was more meteorology related, and he had told us how yesterday he was teaching it to the other class, and it was raining outside, and then all of a sudden he starts explaining how to do this problem with storm elevation, and it starts with being really windy outside, and we were all just like, oh, speak of the devil, there you go, there's some more meteorology for you to do.
It's always interesting to have a professor that's interested in the weather when any kind of severe weather is going on. But we want to thank you, Drew, for your update with us here in the studio. And there is some more rain and showers off to our west, so if any more interesting weather pops up in the central region, I'm sure we'll be back in touch with you at a later time.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you. And now we want to go to Jillian Bohinnick, who is a new anchor here for the live broadcast team. Jillian, how are you doing?
It was so rough. I didn't know what the hell they wanted me to do.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, Jill, going to be our new co-anchor here. Jackie Layer, you know, if you were watching last year, you saw her. She's since moved on. She's actually on ABC 57 in South Bend. But it's good to have you here with us, Jill.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I know.
So, Jill, what did you see during the storm?
Well, I was actually in my dorm room, so it was pretty crazy. We have a big window, so a lot of blowing, a lot of wind coming in, rain, absolutely pouring. It was quite interesting, but I was glued to it. It was great.
Yeah, it was definitely always interesting to see those storms rolling through central Pennsylvania. I know we had a couple about a week and a half ago, and some more action this year.
Definitely.
I couldn't
But yeah, it was quite interesting.
But you managed to avoid getting soaked.
Oh, yes, I did, fortunately.
Yeah, so now some pretty quiet weather behind us.
It is, but I think something is supposed to pop up.
Yeah,
later
so
on
you
this
can,
evening,
if you look behind us, you can see some of the skies maybe a little bit darker now. Obviously, the screen behind us making things appear a little bit more ominous than they actually
Right.
are. But just a couple more showers, the main threat tonight here in central Pennsylvania.
Right.
And things looking pretty cool tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think things are looking pretty good for tomorrow, although temperatures are going to start to drop tomorrow. Not going to be nearly as warm as we saw, yesterday and today, because we were seeing those temperatures in the 80s. So.
I bet a lot of people without air conditioning are going to be happy about that.
Oh, definitely. I know that from personal experience.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to have air conditioning myself this year, but I definitely would not be happy to be living in a dorm right now.
No.
So let's take you and show you that radar out in southeastern Pennsylvania. I know you're from up here in Lackawanna County. It looks like they're getting hit with some thunderstorms right now.
I am from northeastern PA near the Scranton area, so they are getting hit pretty good with the rain and whatnot. So.
Yeah, but fortunately those severe thunderstorm warnings going down for your area at least.
Yeah, good thing.
But looks like a pretty active weather out towards Allentown right now. And we're going to be able to send you back downstairs to tell to get a little bit more about that, right?
Right? Yep. Back to Travis and Christy.
Here's Travis.
Storms in far eastern counties of Pennsylvania, with Ben stepping by in just a moment. But we want to reiterate that once these storms move through, the big change in air mass will be coming in. State College dropped down from 88 degrees to 72 degrees at this hour, and that'll be the case once these storms continue to push off to the east. But before that happens, they have to go through all the severe weather that we have seen here in Central County.
And it does look like the storms are kind of disintegrating a little bit. Allentown warning does expire in the next 35 minutes, and they're basically where we're seeing the most severe weather on the radar, and we'll have Ben in a moment to give us a little bit more details on that severe weather in Allentown and approaching the Philadelphia area.
And once we get into the evening hours, a major threat with these thunderstorms is the wind and also the frequent cloud-to-ground lightning that are associated with these storms. And with an update on that, we want to go to Ben with
the south.
Thanks very much, Travis. Yeah, we're actually taking a look toward the west right now from our camera here on top of Walker Building. We're seeing actually breaks in the clouds. That is the sun trying to poke out back there, as I've been telling you. So central Pennsylvania is in the clear, but it's not what is going on right now in eastern Pennsylvania. Of course, Christy just talked about Allentown under the gun with a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15, and here's why. This squall line that has just been barreling toward the east, it formed out in Ohio earlier today and has made a cross Pennsylvania trek now, and we're seeing some very heavy thunderstorms up toward the Lehigh Valley. But let's start down here. Lancaster County right now, you're seeing some heavy storms that have just moved through Lancaster itself, approaching lower Oxford. Now, as we zoom in even farther here into county level, Paradise, you're getting pounded right now. It just moved through Providence. This is headed off toward the east at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. So this is the area where we are going to be talking about the real bullseye right now for some heavy rain. Farther off to the north and east, though, into Berks County, Reading, you saw a heavy thunderstorm move on through. It is now in Exeter. The Lehigh Valley, though, now really the main focus of this, places like Reading and, of course, Forest Court, Ole, Wilmelsdorf, Sinking Springs, all these places that have just been pounded in the most recent half hour or so. We are now in the clear, but as this continues to move off to the east, we're seeing more areas get in on some of this very heavy rainfall and these torrential downpours, lightning, and gusty winds, really the main concerns out of this. As we continue a little bit farther to the north and east, Allentown and up toward the Poconos, that is the area now that still has the severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 tonight. So if you go from basically like Chestnut Hill down towards Bushkill, Lehigh, Bethlehem, Allentown, Northampton, Schnecksville, Slatington, all of these places are seeing some very heavy rain. Look at some of these real dark returns here in northern Lehigh County. That is some torrential downpour, maybe even some small hail associated with some of these storms as they continue to push off toward the north and the east, and that's why we've got that severe thunderstorm warning. So as this continues to move off to the east, Philadelphia and the big metropolitan area, all around I-95, you are next in line. So if you're traveling home from work this evening, or if you know anybody, you might want to give them a call and say, heads up, because these storms will be in the Philadelphia area and the I-95 corridor within the next 30 to 45 minutes or so, and then it's pretty much over for the state of Pennsylvania. So real quick, as far as the severe weather is concerned, the watches and the warnings, that means conditions are either favorable or about to be favorable, or an occurring thunderstorm producing damaging winds, large hail, frequent lightning, and very heavy rain. You need to be prepared and take shelter. Now let's quickly show you what's going to be happening over the next couple of hours. This line will move off toward the east, and then the skies will begin to clear out as we head into the overnight hours. For your Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, maybe more like mostly cloudy, as it's kind of a transition day to some of that cooler, drier air. But then by the time we get to Saturday, look at this, mostly sunny skies by the time we get to kick off the weekend. Here's a quick look at the 7-day forecast, some optimism here. Saturday, the sun will come out, but will only be around 60 degrees, so say goodbye to those 90s, and then we'll keep the sunshine trend going right into the next week. So these storms will be a distant memory by the time we start next work week. So that's a look at what's going to be coming up. For now, Travis, Christy, back over to you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben, for that update. We've been focusing a lot on the weather in Pennsylvania, but it's not just Pennsylvania that's been dealing with these severe storms. There's severe thunderstorm warnings for Washington, D.C. and the Virginia region. And also, we just saw an update on Twitter that the Baltimore airport was struck by lightning, and that caused a ground stop, but now it is reopened. So for us here in Pennsylvania, Christy, where's our weather focus?
So our weather focus, like Ben was speaking about, is in the Philadelphia area, which could even put some delays in the Philadelphia airport in that region, and even into New Jersey as the evening goes on, because as those storms trek through to the east, they will be hitting New Jersey after they hit Philadelphia. Please send in pics to show us any of the storm damage that you saw here in the state today, or even in the past, or whatever you would like to send in to us. We'd love to see your pictures. Please tweet to us at PSU Weather. We'd love to see the damage, or even possibly as the storm is approaching. I know that some of the Twitter I was searching, that some people saw some awesome storms in Millersville University, saw a nice shelf cloud. So I know that there's awesome weather pictures out there, so please send in, again, your pictures to at PSU Weather.
And we do have some pictures that our graphics team are working on to show you in just a moment. But as far as these storms is concerned, we're approaching 6 o'clock, which is setting the sun for right now. But so severe weather is mostly some cloud to cloud, lightning rather, and gusty winds. But now we want to send it up to Brad.
Yes.
That's great.
Brad, are you there?
I'll sit next to Jeff. You should probably do the forecasting before you do that.
Yeah, don't listen to that. No, I mean.
And Brad will be with us momentarily
A lot
here.
of us started out just doing comp shifts with no forecasting. I don't know why they recommend it.
Yes, Brad is upstairs monitoring the social media and any of the recent warnings, so he will be able to give us a better update on the present warnings that are issued in Pennsylvania, in the Philadelphia metro region, and Allentown for that matter. So once we get that feed live, we will go up to Brad in the studio in just a moment. Brad, can you hear us?
Hi, Travis. What's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Not bad. How are things going down there? I understand we still have some weather going on in southeastern Pennsylvania.
Yes, there is a few storms still affecting the southeastern half of the state, mostly the Allentown, and slowly approaching the Philadelphia region. However, these storms have slowly kind of disintegrated, so they're not as strong as we were seeing in the York area earlier this evening around the 4 o'clock hour.
Yes, certainly some good news for those folks in the Delaware Valley. Looks like they're going to be spared the worst of these storm systems. I know, Christy, we were looking at the traffic cameras in York earlier. Looks like things got pretty rough through there.
Yes, it definitely looks like they did. I'm sure that they had some damage there with those winds and the rain that was so heavy. So hopefully that the Philadelphia region is spared.
And we do have some bad news from West Penn Power, First Energy Corporation. Almost 11,000 customers without power now. Majority of those in York County. A lot of people losing power there in places like Chaseford Township, Glen Rock Borough, Manheim, all those places without power.
Yes, and that is unfortunate. And like we said, maybe we should tell our viewers in Philadelphia, just in case, that they should watch for these strong winds and power outages. So make sure your phones are charged, have your NOAA weather radio ready, be ready for these storms as they approach the region.
Yeah, we're getting some more reports of damage from Pennsylvania now. Report about 4 o'clock this afternoon, trees down in Franklandale, Bradford County. Then closer to the Philly Metro, about an hour ago, trees down in Tulpehocken and Berks County, 1 tree down reported. And then in Oley Township in Berks County, a few trees down. So these storms continuing to cause damage, paving a path of destruction across our Commonwealth as we have gone through this afternoon.
Yes, and Brad, you and I have both been noticing that it's definitely the winds that are the most damaging with this line of thunderstorms. We've seen the most damage from the winds.
Yeah, we've fortunately been spared the hail and the tornado threat this time, but the winds, there's a big straight line wind event that we haven't seen a line of storms this strong since I think the springtime.
Yes, so it's been a while since we have experienced strong storms, which is unusual. Again, August was feeling like September, like you said earlier, Brad, and now September is almost feeling like August.
Yeah, and actually, we're just looking at the radar right now. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued by the Weather Office in Mount Holly, New Jersey, for Delaware County and Chester County, so just west of the Philly Metro, about to be affected by those severe storms. And they're warning of winds up to 60 miles per hour. So as you were saying, the Philadelphia area definitely has to be on the watch over the next hour or two.
Yeah, so please, on your travels home or anything, make sure you keep watching out for those strong, gusty winds.
Yeah, fortunately, the storms should arrive in Philly after the majority of the evening commute is through. But if you're headed home late from work, definitely be on the lookout. Try to stay off those roadways as the strongest portion of the storm is moving through.
Yeah, we want to reiterate that it's dangerous to be outside in severe weather, especially in the evening hours, because you can't see really anything coming towards you in those. You can't see wind, and when those gusts at 70 miles per hour, you can feel your car rocking back and forth, and the threat just gets more dangerous with those cloud-to-ground lightning.
Yes, so if there's any evening soccer games or anything in the Philadelphia region, try to go indoors if you're playing any kind of sport outside this evening in that region.
And again, Jill Bohenig is still here with me. Jill, do you have anything to add about this situation?
Well, it seems that Philadelphia is getting hit pretty hard. There has been a lot of lightning strikes. I know the PSU storm chase team was out actually a little while ago, and they were seeing pea-sized hail, actually. So that's another thing that you're going to want to look out for as well.
Yeah, so the big hail quarter size, that's the definition of severe hail. They aren't seeing that, but maybe a little bit of small hail in there as we look at the radar, maybe near Quarryville, Ackland Gap, Honeybrook. Could be some areas that are seeing some small hail out in Westchester County, Delaware County over the next few minutes. So Coatesville, Lindell, and then Westchester itself in the path of these storms.
Okay, so we do know now that hail could be a possibility as well as those strong winds as the biggest threat to these areas.
Yeah, and it seems like mainly Pennsylvania being affected by these storms. We haven't really seen too many warnings to our south in Maryland or to our north in New York. So it's been kind of isolated to our state, at least.
That's right, but let's just repeat the dangers here associated with these storms at the moment. We see quarter-size hail, very gusty winds upwards of 70 miles per hour. That could bring trees down I just want to remind you of a report that got in earlier this afternoon that a 53-mile-per-hour gust knocked down an 18 to 20 foot or 24-inch diameter tree. That's 2 feet across, so that's a pretty sturdy tree. So these winds are dangerous, and these storms are approaching the Philadelphia metro region within the hour.
Yes, so if you are in this area, please take shelter immediately. Don't be outdoors. And these storms might not look like they're very severe, but they are, so we want to keep watching. I know it's September, and this is stuff you usually see in the springtime, but again, with this air mass that we were in, with the warm air, these are still very dangerous storms.
Yeah, and we'll be looking for more of those damage reports coming out of Lancaster County. I know a lot of agriculture down there, and definitely those strong winds, not really something you want to see when you're trying to grow some of those crops.
Yes, so I think we're going to go to Penn Tower now to talk to Dakota and possibly Drew that has been there. So we'll probably get with them in the near future. Brad, I'm sure, did you talk to Dakota and Drew this earlier today as well?
Yeah, we spoke to Dakota and Drew about an hour ago. Things were pretty quiet out there, but they were able to give us some pretty vivid descriptions of what happened here in central Pennsylvania earlier today.
Yes, and again, we did see some severe weather here in Center County, but we kind of were on the calmer end of the storm. We did still see strong winds, but it was a little bit calmer here in Center County.
Yes, nonetheless, it provided some very interesting cloud structures and beautiful views out there earlier this afternoon. But we've been giving you updates on warnings and severe weather here, but really the major picture is we're changing out of a very humid and muggy air mass, which is providing all this energy for these storms. But for the next couple of days, it's going to be very different.
Yes, it's going to be a lot cooler, which is nice for our football game here that will take place on Saturday.
Yeah, I know I'm going to be headed to that game. Will you guys be?
Yes, I'll definitely be here, and make sure you wear your jacket if you are here. We're going to go to viewer pictures now that were sent in. Again, if you would like to send in any more viewer pictures, please tweet to us at PSU Weather.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys. We had a number of great pictures. Our viewers always and send them to us here at the Campus Weather Service. This one from earlier today in Ferguson Township around 2 o'clock of the ominous-looking skies. That from one of the new student housing complexes there in Ferguson Township. Another great one, this one from Perry County. We had a team, two teams actually, from the Penn State storm chasing team that went out today. This one was in Liverpool, Pennsylvania in Perry County. A shot of the clouds there, a decent one. They didn't see anything significant today, as you've heard from our storm chasers. You talked to Jacob DeFlitch earlier and Matt Flournoy. They didn't see anything out of the ordinary, but they did get some good pictures and saw some hail and gusty winds. I took this picture around 2 o'clock from the Walker Building at Penn State of clouds that were really moving in kind of a weird way. They were kind of waving their way across the sky, so that is looking up and into the sky. And then this is another picture of that same cloud, but looking straight on to the west from the Walker Building at Penn State. Kind of a lowering of the cloud, but it certainly wasn't a shelf cloud or any sort of well-defined thunderstorm cloud that we're used to seeing around here. And this is my favorite picture of the day. Storm chasers or photographers, same group that was out there in Perry County. Matt Brothers, Jake DeFlitch, and JP Nicola. They looked like they were having a great time out there following those storms, and one of their passions in addition to storm chasing is taking pictures. And speaking of pictures, we have one last live picture from here in Happy Valley where you can see that at this time everything is looking okay. Most of the rain has moved out of our area, and things are okay at this time with temperatures in the 70s. With that in mind, we're going to send things up to Penn Tower. We have had a great crew up there today. Drew, Dakota, and Paul will send it up to you there at Penn Tower.
Thank you, Ryan. Those are some awesome pictures that really documented what was going on today. It was quite the eventful day across Pennsylvania, and it's starting to settle down and move out of the area past Philly. So we thank you for having us out here. Not much going on right now, but it was great to join you guys. Have any comments?
Yep. Just great first time doing it. It worked pretty well, but can't wait to do it in the future.
Yeah, so thank you guys. I'm going to pass it to the desk with, I think, an update on the radar. Thank you.
radar. Ben, how's it looking out there?
Well, we are seeing things really begin to move out and almost fizzle in some spots of this line of storms that we've been tracking. We still have the warnings posted, but as we take a zoom in, you're going to notice things are beginning to fall apart in parts of this line. We've got one real strong cell that is now just north of Allentown and another little line down towards Lancaster, but the rest of it is just kind of beginning to weaken. Allentown, you're still getting hit pretty hard as you go up towards Schnecksville, Bath, Northampton, up into Moore Township. This is the strongest cell as we speak right now, and it's still warned until about 6:15 until it completely moves out. Another slow strong cell up toward the Poconos northwest of Coolbaugh here and towards Saylorsburg, places like that. And then really the rest of the line, though, beginning to fall apart. Philly, you're still going to see some showers and a few rumbles of thunder out of this, but the actual squall line of sorts has really fizzled. But again, warning is still in effect for Chester and Lancaster counties because of this little hook that is moving toward the east. And then as it approaches Philadelphia, that's when we're really going to be seeing things pretty much come to an end. Philly, you're the last to get the rain, and it will be here probably within about a half hour or so, maybe a little bit less than that. So that's the very latest look at the radar. Much better weather comes in just a matter of hours. In fact, the sun's already breaking out behind this thunderstorm line, so something to look forward to. Travis and Christy, we're going to send it back over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben, for giving us that update on the radar. And as you can see, these storms are finally almost approaching the end of the Commonwealth. So within the next hour, we will see basically nice skies throughout the entire state here in Pennsylvania.
That's right. But those storms are still going on in southeastern Pennsylvania. So if you catch any viewer photos, do send us in to PSU Weather on Twitter or on our Facebook website. But for now, the sun is setting, the storms are dying out, and we want to end the show here. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Yes, and thanks to everyone on the live team for all of their great work this evening. And Pat, it was great being in the studio with you this evening.
Yes, it was great covering this weather. We'll see you next time. Any severe weather, we want to take a last look at the Happy Valley camera to leave you.
Good night, everybody.